So how to use your red light? This is a question that a viewer reached out to me and asked me, and the viewer wrote, quote, "Great review, can you share the how? I know it's different for everyone, but any tips would help. I too just bought my red and not sure how close for how long." First of all, I just want to say thank you for the question. Now, when it comes to the question how, there's a lot of things you have to consider when you're answering that question, because it all depends on which kind of device you have. Does it have near infrared light or does it have red infrared light? Because those kind of questions are very important to be able to answer the how. Now, I will try to do my best to answer it, and I think the most of the information that comes from this video you should take with a grain of salt and stick with the manual and what feels best for you. So no further ado, let's get started. So to answer the how question, I think you have to go a little bit deeper and talk about the distance, the how, and when and what for, and maybe some tips and tricks that I've been learning on my journey with my red light panel. So when it comes to the distance, I believe the most safest and more effective way is that you are doing the recommendation that comes for your product. I think there's a lot of people who are reading a lot of articles and watching a lot of YouTubers, and you get all confused with all this information and we forget what kind of product we got. So I believe that the most important thing is that you just go with the user guide that comes with your product. The number one reason why we have different distance and recommendation from our devices is one simple reason. Every one of these panel has electromagnetic radiation. That's a hard word to say, but yes. And depending which brand you have different radiation range. I came to my conclusion that the more famous brand you had, the more safer it was. Some people maybe don't care about this, and some other are very concerned of it. I myself is a little bit between the both. So this one has I think it's 1 or 2 inches from the panel, the radiation almost drops to 0. So if you have a distance for 10 inches from it, you should be probably very safe. The second reason why there are variation on the distance and recommendation is because that depending on which device you've been bought, there are different strength in the LED lights, which means that the more far you come or from the red light panel, the more weaker the light will be. I myself decided to not do the recommendation that comes with my device. The recommendation for this one is 5 inches, and I decided to be around 8 to 10 inches from it. And the reason why I decided that is because I wanted to have a little bit more wider angle on the light, so it will hit a bigger target on my body. And I don't think that if you are backing from the panel a few inches, it will not be effect on the result in the end. So when it comes to how to use your red light panel in a practical use, I think you get a bunch of different options to choose between of. I've seen people in YouTube who are lying down in front of it to treat the hair, and I've seen some people sitting in a meditation position in front of it. I myself are always standing up. As you can see, this is the corner I'm using it at. So I believe I think that's the most practical way for me to fit in this corner, is to just be standing up. So when it comes to other options to use your device, you can order floor stand or a mobile stand. As I mentioned before, I always stands up. I think that's the most convenient thing for me to do, because the the corner here is quite tight, and when I'm treating my hair, I'm just leaning a little bit in front of the panel, and so far so good. I got good results with that. Now, if you've just been ordering your red light or are considering ordering a red light, I just want to give a heads up on this door hook. I was thinking this could be a good idea to use, but until I put it up on my door and I noticed that I couldn't close the door. I couldn't close the door, and that was quite annoying. And another thing is that my door is in a corner, which means that when I'm opening up the door, I would smash the red light into the wall. So I got kids that are running around in the house, so I immediately decided to take down the door hook and went down to the store and bought another hook, and I mounted up in the wall here instead. So this was a good idea and I tried it, but it didn't work for me. Maybe it will for you. So when it comes to why and what for, we have to first talk about the time. The general recommendation is 30 minutes per day and 10 minutes per body part. And I think if you're watching a lot of YouTubers, you see some of them are pairing up their devices. And they are doing that for one simple reason: to get the most of their session. So instead of you doing one body part in the time, they're doing the entire front and the entire back in 2 sessions, and that's 20 minutes. So I think if you have the money to buy that solution, I think that's the most effective way, instead of having a small one that you have to move around. If you are a beginner with this and never done red light therapy before, I think you should go very easy in the beginning, and especially if you have sensitive skin. And instead of doing the 10 minutes limit per body part, you should maybe go for 5 minutes sessions instead. And if you can, reduce the light on your device. Many devices has that function that you can tone down the light. And I did this myself. I went for 5 minutes per session, and I went down from 100% of brightness down to the more like 50 to 70% range. And I did this only because I wanted my body to get used to the light. When it comes to the 30 minutes limit that I just said, I think you should read about your device, because if you're searching around on the internet, you will find different answers with this. Some brands are saying 20 minutes use per day, and others say 30 minutes per day. And we come to the fact again that it all depends on which kind of device you have, how strong the light is, and how long range it has. So be careful with that. So what I've learned so far, I'm being more and more careful with this kind of device, and it's not because I have any accident or I'm afraid or something like that. It's more like I am not seeing that much results anymore, and that's why I'm reducing my sessions instead. And when it comes to the 2 different lights, I'm only using the right lights. I've been using the both light at the same time, except for the face. I'm only using the red light on the face and not the near infrared light on the face. But when it comes to muscle pain relief, joint pain relief, I'm only using the near infrared light. Now, another reason why I'm doing less session is because the summertime is coming here in Sweden, and I believe that when I'm doing outdoors activities with my family, I will not need to do my red light therapy as much. So instead of doing my 3 or 4 times per week, I will do maybe 1 or 2 times per week instead. When it comes to treating you for better sleep, you should use your red light in the morning and not in the evening. Even though this is a good light, if we are exposing ourselves with so much light on the evening that we are activating our brain to not go to sleeping mode. And this is one of the main reasons why a lot of people have sleeping disorder. It can be stress, but it can also be that you are exposing yourself with your cell phone, iPad, computer, television, you name it. All of these lights are activating our brain to not go to sleep mode. So the recommendation is to use it in the morning. Another thing that I've learned in my journey is that this is quite embarrassing, but I'm gonna share it with you guys. If you have one of these kind of devices, this is an IPL machine, which means that if you want to get rid of body hair, you just shave that body part and you will shoot the skin with this device. It's not a laser, it's just a lamp, but what's happening is that the hair follicles will fall asleep and it will not grow as fast as usual, and this can be a permanent thing. The problem is that I've been doing this for like a year now, and when I've been using my red light panel now for like 4 or 5 months, it has activating my hair follicles on the body parts I didn't want to have any hair on. So I'm back on page 1 again with that journey, but that's also one of the main reasons that I'm not using the red light over my entire body. So the only body parts I'm using the red light is the face and the hair. The rest of my body I'm just using the near infrared light instead. Okay guys, that's all for today. I just want to say thank you to the viewer who reached out to me and asked me this question. It has been super fun to make this video. It hasn't been easy to answering the how question, but hopefully I covered the most parts. If you have other questions, you can just write it down in the comments, or if you have a wish that you want me to make another content or another video, just write it down and I will try to answer you as fast as I can. And if you haven't done it yet, please hit that like button and subscribe so you won't miss my next video. Until then, have a great day and take care. Bye!